When I journal, I have a purpose behind it, especially my art journals. I like to really focus on my art journals and create in here visuals and put in the words in that are very helpful to changing my mindset. I might be challenged with struggling with something. Maybe in my work, I'm kind of holding myself back. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed in life. Whatever it is, I always go to creating something in my journal to balance out that my mindset and to get it going in a different direction. You know, a different mindset can transform so many aspects of life by helping each of us handle challenges better. We can improve our relationships, we can boost our motivation, and we feel so much more confident when we kind of are settled on the inside. And that's what a mindset shift is all about. When you shift your thinking, you become more open to growth. You handle stress, so much better. You're more effective. You make smarter choices. It can also improve your health. It helps us stay focused. It helps us build stronger relationships, and it creates the life that we want. No matter what challenges you face, journaling, putting in statements in that can help shift your mindset can be a very helpful, positive thing for you. I've got my little journal here, and today I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you just quickly in a little quick clip on how I created this page for myself. As I went through and I looked into, I've got a library that I've created. It is called the Creative Reminders. In there, I found a couple of statements that are super helpful for me, and I'm just going to take a minute and read them to you. First one I put down here is, I will do all that I can do, and then what I am unable to do, I will turn over to God. That is a very important thing for me because I tend to be I'm an individual who tries to do it all, tries to get it all accomplished, and sometimes my plate gets overfull. And so as I remind myself, I'm going to do all that I can do, and then the rest I'm going to turn over to God, is very helpful for making me relax, breathe, and just feel calmer. I'm invested in my time to develop my passions and acknowledge the Lord in all things. I love that statement. I think it's just a beautiful reminder of how we are watched over and how God helps us. Another statement I put in here is, every small effort I make creates opportunity. By staying focused on my purpose, intentional actions will lead me to my goal. I needed that today because I had just come off of a wonderful week of vacationing with my family, and it's so difficult when you come off of something like that to step back into the routine and to get yourself motivated. And that little reminder helps me to just feel the fuel I needed to get going. So let me take you now behind the scenes. I'm going to show you how I created this today. All right, this is a 4x6 size little sketchbook. And today I sketched out a random flower form, and I'm just using some acrylic paint and relaxing as I start painting in each of the petals. Let me remind you, as you're doing this particular part of the project, don't concern yourself with making a masterpiece. I do believe that everything we create is a masterpiece, but I think sometimes if we're too concerned about what we're creating in our journal, it hinders us from just relaxing and enjoying the process. So if you just like to make flowers or maybe even just pages of color, you could doodle in it. It doesn't really matter. I wanted to play with a little bit of mixing of color here, and so I've got a really pale kind of an orange, and I'm mixing it in over my fuchsia hot pink and playing with the petals back and forth. And that just I find it so relaxing as I do that. I take my brush, I lay it down, and then I just kind of give it a little twist as it lays down the paint, and it blends it in beautifully. Now you'll want to kind of dry these in between as you're doing your layers so that you get those different layers of color showing through. And I know I've sped this up, just simply for time's sake, but there again, I worked quickly as I was creating, as I was painting. Using the same colors back and forth. The pinks, the pale orange. It's almost a coral. It's really not an orange, it's a coral. And I love how those blend and work with each other. At this point of my journaling, I'm not really concerned with what I'm going to be putting into the book. Sometimes I'll look before and I'll have my statement in that. And that's typically how I suggest that people do go in and in the creative reminders, I tell my members, go in, look for the statement after you've done a little bit of journaling to really zero in on what is going on inside ourselves. I find that if I'm tend to be putting something off, I'm not getting things accomplished, maybe I'm avoiding tasks that need to be done and doing other things, then I need to take a good look at what's going on and what is it that I'm struggling with. And once I can zero in on that, then I can go back in and look at the creative reminders and find a statement that is super helpful to eliminate that. Because the goal is you can't just stop thinking about something. You've got to replace it with something else. If you don't, then all that stuff that you got rid of, or those thoughts that you told yourself, I'm not going to think about this, I'm not going to worry about this, will all come back. You've got to fill in the void. You've got to put something else in there. That's why I love having the Creative Reminders library, because it gives me access to so many different statements that I've created over the years. And I have something I can find very quickly and easily. I'm putting in my stems and my grass, and I'm doing 2 tones here of different greens. And these are just, I'm thinking about those little flowers that have little tiny leaves in that, and mimicking that as I'm painting away here. Always working on the centers, I got a little bit extra paint in there. So, if you just take a dry brush or a brush with just a little bit of water in it that's clean, you can typically lift that up. Let's do a little highlights here and blend those in. So we finish this up on layering down the paint. So like I said, as I was a few minutes ago, I'm just putting down and creating and playing right now. And then I'll go back in and I'll find my statement. And really what I'm dealing with today is just trying to get that momentum going, to get going after a fun week of hanging out with my family. I've had family come down and visit, grandkids, and it's just such a wonderful time. And then as a grandmother, it's sad when they leave, it really becomes a little bit depressing. I hate to use that word, but it is. It's depressing to see family leave and know, especially when they live such far distance away, that you really won't see them for a very long time. So what I've done here is I've had some ink and alcohol inks, and I wanted to layer those down on the top and see what would happen. And when I laid them down, when I dropped them on the paper, it's one of those things that you do and you're like, oh, wish I hadn't have done that. But you just keep working at it and you just add something else to it. And I love it. I love the way it blended in. I didn't want to just paint a sky. I wanted something a little bit different and fun. And I did get that. Absolutely. A little bit more than I thought I would get. I'm using a charcoal pencil right now, and I'm going around and defining. I'm putting in the little definition of each petals and defining most of these flowers. The charcoal, you could use an ink, a permanent ink, but I didn't want a really solid dark line. I wanted it to be kind of sketchy and loose, and I loved the way that these turned out. Now I've got this. The creative reminders are in our membership library, and I can access them really easy from my phone. And so I looked something up, found a few statements that have would really change my mindset, set me in the direction I want to go, and I'm writing them now. One thing I want to say to any of the members that are watching this, of My Art Sisters or of the Grow Joy journaling group, you do not need to write out every single statement that I have in these quotes. You can pull from them. It's just words or statements or anything that rings true for you. And maybe you just like a few of the words, but then you're going to add your own. So be creative with it. Use it as a tool that can help you in the direction that you're trying to go, and be a support for you as you're writing in your journal. So that's what's taking me a few minutes here is rather than writing the whole thing. And that's the other part too, is a lot of times they can be a little lengthy. And so I like to zero in on what really, really will affect me for this moment, this day that I am actually working on, that helps to just change the way I'm thinking and the way I'm feeling. And what's great is by the time I'm through with this, I'm going to have this wonderful journal of thoughts that can be passed on. And there we are. Thanks for watching this. I'm Kathy Freeman, and you can find all this information at kathyfreemanart.com. Check out my little art village for any of the replays that you might be searching for. And I hope you make it a Grow Joy journaling day.